Namaste Galactic Family, welcome back to my channel Indigo Angel, and welcome if you're new. If you're returning, don't forget to hit the notifications bell to continue to receive my messages. Today I have an ascension reading for the Starseed and Stargate system Sirius. So if you're a Sirian Starseed, welcome. You guys got a lot going on right now within your star system, and the mission, the mythology, the encryption, the expression that is playing out within the Stargate system. There is a lot that is being basically activated within the occult Stargate grid sites within the planet, and just the ultimate overall planetary solar feminine Christed uprising that has been very much overdue. It's very much being accelerated right now into several continuous group grid works that are being possible by many of these pleiadian activations. So this means portions of the collectives and portions of the dormant planetary grids are going through a pleiadian or activating that Christed cell light. And so it's very much within the Sophia realignment within the planetary template, the mother code, the mother language, all of the mother architecture, even some of these locations planetarily, like sacred sites and things of this nature, are being awakened. Kali temples, Isis temples, serpent temples, basically the 5 goddess locations within the Sirian pentagram. All of those sacred temples and locations are going through a great harvesting of this energy. So this is the uprising of the divine feminine is coming in to counterbalance a lot of these feminine principles. And it's also very much within the inter-subharmonic wave currents that pertain to the oppositional planetary alignments. So if you guys want to know more about that, please see my last grid update, where essentially I was talking about the 5 goddess vortexes that are merging this archaic and imperial time waves back into the relativity for a multitude of planetary reasons and healings and clearings. For one, the Sirian will activate and initiate and reestablish the peace treaties, the covenants, the commandments, and sacred oaths. All of these are highly integrative, also with the Pleiadian and also the Orion soul collective. So the peace treaties that have been established with Sirians and Pleiadians, these are being reinitiated. Also, Orions are also bringing a lot to a forefront with this energy as well. The Pleiadians, the Sirians, and the Orions are very much interworking mechanical type encryptions, in the sense that they really get in there and get their hands dirty as far as like human interaction, human expression, like moving the reality fields along to where they need to go. They push through the energy, they ignite the energy, they awaken the energy, and they purify and cleanse the energy for then it to go deeper cellularly within the body, and then have those deeper Lyran celestial templates come online and then do a lot of the DNA re-encoding. Right now, the planetary body is having to take some time within the Sophia initiations before some of this other transmitting to these sonic pillars within the planetary ley lines can perpetuate within the networks and in the grid lines. So some of you might have even came across the energetic synthesis January 17th that Lisa Renee just put out, and it very much does coincide my grid activation that I just put out, my Sirian Stargate grid activation. So everything that's being talked about in this article really does coincide everything that I had been grid working planetarily. So I love that confirmation. The 3 origins in particular, Pleiadian, Sirian, Orion, will continue at this point to form coalitions to be doing this brunt work when it comes to organization, revolution, solutions to several planetary distortions, plugs, seals, hooks, vaults. The word vaults keeps coming up a lot. All of the hidden knowledge that has been taken from the planet. There is this etheric divine will or want to release these records. It's so deep within the human biological encryption, but also the planetary crystal caverns, they're still transmitting this knowledge because it was gifted to humanity. This knowledge never left because it was locked in a vault, so to speak. So I see the Sirians activations planetarily from these Stargate locations, clearing and eradicating a lot of this societal, governmental, just humanitarian resistance to the acceleration of these knowledge timelines within the polarity trajectories. This is all dissipating and it's losing its stronghold. It's coming back into the 0 point field of vibrations through the solar feminine Christ. And this is going to continue to be ongoing through 2022. As we continue to work through a lot of divine feminine archetypes, this is going to keep continuing to come up for many of us, particularly carrying the Sirian template. We will be the expressions of these archetypes as they continue to play out in the human form. The Sirian soul collectives, ET and ultra-terrestrial, do represent the sixth sphere or council within the cosmic universal tree of life, the sixth tone, and carries a frequency of divine universal connection, compassion, the honor of the sacred eternal feminine, Trinity, and great mothers of immaculate conception in the humanoid form on Earth, extraterrestrially 4 through 6 density. They essentially bring forth a healing from the divine cosmic mother, the divine cosmic womb. And having that said, I feel hopeful that the planetary mother arcs are going through a repairing process as we speak, and there will be a strong blue primal light penetrating the grids from these initiations. Okay, guys, so I just want to go ahead and get into the reading. So I'm going to go through the human experience and then the galactic experience as much as possible. Not that I'm trying to differentiate a separation between those realms, but it's how we come to embody more of our higher self, more of our galactic self is through the integrative awareness of those platforms of consciousness that do present for reality fields to manifest and play out and materialize through. And so it does kind of help to gain awareness from higher dimensional to lower dimensional to higher dimensional expressions of source energy. But this is not to say that you are residing in this dualistic type navigational framework for your human expression. Ultimately, there's no separation from higher and lower. They are one. They generate to one another. They're all interconnected. First dimension is interconnected to the 15th dimensional spectrum. There is polarity that exists in all dimensional frameworks. Therefore, you are playing out this as you go more quantum within yourself to transcend this through your biological knowing and your biological vibrational experience. And I know a lot of you already are very aware of a lot of this stuff. I just get on my little rant here. But essentially, yeah, so on the Sirians, for the Sirian Starseed, we have the King of Pentacles. The Sirians are going to be stepping into basically the Sophia Christos realignment. So there's going to be a more of a masculine energy that does come forth through the human expression for the Sirian Starseed. There's going to be more prosperity, more success, more ambition, more security as they continue to lock it up in these sacred oaths and covenants and commandments that begin to define the moral behavior and expression of human interaction, interrelationship or also through politics and higher social structures and all of these things that continue to span out through the etheric waves of the collective integration as one collective mind. And this is just going to continue to build, hopefully, a more of a reliable pattern within the human expression as we continue to integrate the knowing from the planetary body in the higher dimensional realm. There's this hope now that there will be more of a reliability from this point forward. Thank you to the Sirian initiations. And this is going to generate in practical matters, matters of trust, matters of enterprise, matters of manifestation. There's going to be this sentimental reflection on a lot of the things that have been playing out, but it will continue to help with the regeneration of resources at this time, individually, planetarily, collectively, and biologically. On a galactic level for the Sirian Starseed, there's going to be a lot more coming up from the subconscious. It's almost like you've gone off planet, you have anchored your light body into the subconscious, and a lot more psychic abilities are starting to unfold. A lot more psychic abilities are starting to present. There's a lot more connection to the intuition at this time and that deeper knowing, as you are the radial encryption that is anchoring in that mother Christed template into the planet right now. And so there's a lot of moon awareness, moon goddesses, worship, connection to the divine fertility. We got the Empress as well. The fertility goddess is going to be coming up a lot more. She's making her initiation. Sirian subconscious is propagating that flow at this time. The inner voice begins to become very loud at this time. So the inner voice is undeniable. There's a lot of Sirian starseeds right now that are reaching a very high level of enlightenment. The light body is very illuminated at this time. And there's just this awareness of phases and this knowing that you have this solid template or foundation to now begin to move through these phases. Even though in the past there may have been some fears or some inability to gain some type of order on this, but now things are starting to become more crystal clear at this time. On a human level, there's a lot of justice to be served. This is very apparent for many of us carrying this solar feminine Christed architecture, so to speak. There needs to be fairness. There needs to be some honesty. There needs to be more acting in an ethical manner. The sides have been being weighed for a long time. The scales have been being weighed for a long time. There has been so much that the Sirian energy has been basically, I really do feel that the Sirian encryption has been swept up under the rug for quite some time. And because of that, it has reconciled its balance. It's reconciled its need to balance out these scales. And so basically a lot of us carrying these Sirian encryptions are rising into speaking our truth at this time, rising into empowerment, rising into an accelerated forward motion, very much accompanied by the legions of the divine feminine uproar, in the fact that there are legions of divine feminine armies that are coming through the expression of one divine feminine's stance and dominance in her position at this time. And so the divine order to the universe is just going to keep propagating this need for the divine mother to come in and assist with this great clearing, this great collective healing. And this is kind of like the world card, but on a galactic level. And this is just confirmation that the universe is supporting this balance, this justice of the divine Christos Sophia realignment planetarily. The universe is recognizing through its galactic connections, its galactic ascendancy, that the galaxies themselves, these consciousness bodies, are aware of the distress on planet Earth. Because it's not just on planet Earth, it's also playing out and mirroring this within other galaxy systems. I actually had a vision the other night of the collective, as the collective energy generates, that it is generating these galaxy systems. And as these galaxy systems do generate this collective energy, they are what propagate the collisions. And so what's happening on an etheric level are galactic implosions are happening within particular density levels. Let's say there's a Sirian soul group that's gained momentum, but there's another wave form that's gained momentum. Well, they're spiraling off and then they're colliding back into each other. And so this consciousness is reverberative and mirror and parallel to the local cluster groups and galactic nations there. So we are just playing out a lot of these greater galactic warfares, but it's not necessarily warfare. It's just the balance between the polarity universally. The polarization typically within the biological form is electrical direction. It's electrical direction of masculine principle and magnetic direction of the feminine principle. So this would be what is needed for manifestation within the biological form, but on a cosmic scale or a supercolossal scale or a galactic scale, those are weighed out in accordance to universal harmonic laws and also completely different frameworks of worldly perceptions. And so it becomes so multidimensionally spectrumed at that point that that's really bringing it into a place where it can be more damaging because there's no focus on the actual structures and it can actually lose its creational integrity. Okay, so simply for the human's needs, bringing everything back into the 0 point field is most important. And so I feel that's what this level of attainment is about, is bringing everything back into the 0 point field, tuning into the avatar nature and recalibrating that from this divine Sophia awakening. Also, we have the Empress, okay, that fertility goddess from the 5 goddess locations of the Sirian Stargates within Syria. Okay, that has been a major activation point planetarily within the grid. And this is all about the Sirian Divine Mother bringing this femininity, this abundance, this nurturing, this harmony, this luxury, beauty, grace, everything that is of the light of the Divine Mother is coming forward, but there's also some darkness that's coming forward. There are the darker Divine Feminine that is coming forward. And so this is where those of us who are deeply within the realms of ascension, deeply within the realms of interdimensional self-exploration and attuning to the most natural, coherent frequencies, archetypes, archaics, timelines, all of these things as we go in really far and start to kind of go into the depths of this polarization of the feminine, we begin to see that, you know, the fertility goddess is what merges the light goddess and the dark goddess together. And this is finally where the inner battle of the divine feminine merges to create. So this is a beautiful time for this Sirian acceleration because of that acceleration or accumulation or just coherent merge of the 2 distinct tonal chords merging back into that one vibrational place of fertility, spring, rebirth, the power of the triple goddess, the maiden, the mother, the crone. Like, that's all relative in that expression. It could also mean on a human level that one might be a little bit self-centered, one might be a little bit vain or lazy or superficial or promiscuous. But then again, these are all just subsidiary labels to the dark feminine. So once again, it's just about bringing this back into that Trinity energy for the goddess. The goddess is restabilizing that into the grids, this infusion of the Holy Mother and the Holy God seed, the Holy Mother principle aspect of the cosmic Trinity. This is all held within the feminine template. The feminine template does hold the God seed, and this further is opening more to the 0 point field through the tri-wave, the 13th pillar gateway that is being accessed through that aquamarine ray. So on a galactic level, we have the 2 of Wands. So this is about, on a higher level, owning some authority, some power, some persuasiveness, reestablishing your confidence in what you're doing, but still maintaining your humility. But this is kind of about taking matters into your own hands. And as we uprise in that energy, in this mother principle, we're going to be basically eradicating the polarity to the core tonal aspect and the negatively charged fields within this base magnetic field. And thus, what's associated with that is going to manifest. And so these are, continuously the primal forces that are propagating all of the risks that we take, all of the partnerships or the collaborations or just trips and travels and things that we're doing. Like, just know that everything that you're being guided to do in this moment is ultimately redirecting you back to that space of being a trailblazer, being somebody who goes off the trail, off the beaten path, and meets with the higher self, with the higher density levels of their identity, and allows that integration to continue to unfold. On a human level, we have the Three of Cups. There is going to be some time, Sirian Starseed, where you're going to be allowed to celebrate, you're going to be allowed to let loose, you're going to be allowed to start just releasing the strains and the strongholds that were on the consciousness, that were on the emotional body, that were on the spiritual body. You're going to be, stepping more into social activities, collaborations. I keep sensing pregnancy and like rebirth, but it's all a part of that Sophia solar feminine Christed energy, just rebirthing so many reality fields that it is physical manifestation of that, but it's also very subconscious, and it's also very probability like to encroaching future timelines. There's definitely has been a fertilization, so to speak, as to the feminine basically being able to share their happiness, their reflections of love, their abundance, of all of these things. This is going to start to unfold more within the human realm as we all kind of restabilize ourselves. And last but not least, we have the Adept of Wands. There's a lot of magic unfolding in the universal realms. And it's interesting because I feel like each one of these are like those little galaxies I was talking about, that the light body himself is the portal or the transmitter to the manifestation of the collective galaxies that are either working with each other or working against each other. And at this point, timelines are being jumped, accelerated, time scales, time perceptions, Akashic records, all of this etheric doors are kind of being opened, as the veil thins, as we start being able to merge and see into these higher dimensional perceptions and perspectives and reality fields, whether we're going vertical ascension column, horizontal ascension column, angular ascension column, biological ascension column, planetary ascension column, whatever it is. We are just the portal structures that are continuing to manifest those reality fields. There's this level of mastery that is unfolding within that solar feminine Christed template. Women right now are possessing just the divine feminine template. This reading is not just for the feminine template. This is also very much the divine feminine re-encoding that's playing out within every androgynous body on the planet. And this is creating some charm, some irresistance, some magnetism. So if you are a divine feminine at this time or a divine masculine at this time that is very much aligned to the Christos realignment mission, just know that you're going to be drawing people in magnetically because of the accelerated thrust and expression in what you represent right now as a Sirian Starseed. You are going to be such a huge quantum generator for the acceleration of the planetary mission. And so just continue to stay in tune to these higher aspects, because they are downloading the encryption, the nervous system, the DNA, all of it with the wisdom that is necessary to begin the planetary accelerative healing that is necessary for the planetary ascension. It's also going to be assisting with several grid rehabilitation projects. So that, like I said, it's going to be continuing to be ongoing. And it's going to span into several parallel timelines and major historical trigger events. So just keep your eyes peeled for everything that's going on planetarily, environmentally, through climate change, through biological weaponization, planetary bioweaponization, contracts and commandments. I keep being told, pay attention to contracts and commandments at this time. There's a lot that is going to start to unfold and present through 2020. 2020 is going to be about reestablishing commandments and covenants. So there might be a lot of major pieces newly written or rewritten, so to speak. And it might even start with the American government, because it's going to be like a magnetic reversal that comes through with this Sirian energy. It's just further activating more of those female staff codes. And it's going to continue to propagate the keeper of the flame and the violet flame. Okay, guys, so I love you so much. I hope that you enjoyed this reading. Namaste. If you would like to purchase my book, How to Read Celestial Akashic Starseed Origins, please go to indigoangel222.com, and you can also look at my services there. I do Starseed Origin readings, Akashic record readings, and I would love to give you a reading. You can also check out my Patreon, patreon.com/indigoangel. And namaste, guys. I love you so much. I'll see you on the next video.